Leon adjusted his daughter's helmet one more time, checking the seal with the practiced care of a father who'd lost too much already. Elsa, barely 6 years old, pressed her small gloved hands against the viewport, her eyes wide with wonder at the massive derelict station floating before them. "Is that really ours, Papa?" she whispered. "It is, sweetheart," Leon replied, guiding their small transport toward the docking bay. "Our new home." The Frontier Acquisition Authority had practically given the station away. Condemned property, they'd called it. Structurally unsound, possibly haunted. Leon had laughed at that last part. He didn't believe in ghosts. Only in desperate men trying to give their daughters a better life than Earth's overcrowded slums could offer. The docking clamps engaged with a metallic thunk. Leon had spent 3 weeks making preliminary repairs, ensuring the habitat ring had atmosphere and gravity before bringing Elsa aboard. But the station was vast, 72 decks of abandoned corridors and silent chambers. Most of it remained unexplored. They floated through the airlock into Section 7, where Leon had established their living quarters. Elsa squealed with delight, bounding in the low gravity toward her new room. Leon smiled, feeling the weight of the past year, his wife's death, the mounting debts, the impossible decisions, finally begin to lift. That night, as Elsa slept, Leon heard it. A sound, faint, rhythmic, coming from somewhere deep in the station's core. He told himself it was the life support systems, the ancient machinery groaning back to life. But something about it felt deliberate. Over the following weeks, Leon worked tirelessly. He restored power to 3 more sections, repaired the water reclamation system, and even got the hydroponics bay operational. Elsa helped where she could, her laughter echoing through corridors that had been silent for decades. But the sounds continued. Sometimes footsteps, sometimes what might have been voices too distant to distinguish. Leon began carrying a plasma torch wherever he went. On the 23rd day, Elsa went missing. Leon tore through the station screaming her name, his heart pounding against his ribs. The tracker in her suit led him to Section 12, a part of the station he hadn't yet explored. The corridors here were different, organic curves instead of angular human design, walls that seemed to shift color in the dim emergency lighting. He found her in what appeared to be a medical bay. Elsa stood unharmed, holding hands with 2 figures. Leon raised his plasma torch, then froze. They were humanoid but unmistakably alien. One had skin like polished obsidian that reflected the light in impossible ways, her eyes large and luminous. The other seemed constructed of living crystal, her form refracting into rainbows. Both wore expressions he recognized despite their alien features: fear, hope, and desperate relief. "Papa, don't," Elsa cried. "They're scared. They've been hiding." The obsidian woman raised her hand slowly, speaking in a language that flowed like water. The translator on Leon's belt, a cheap model that barely worked, stuttered to life. "Please. No harm. Trapped. Long time." Leon lowered the torch but didn't put it away. "Who are you?" Through the fragmentary translation, their story emerged. The station hadn't been abandoned. It had been a refuge, a hidden sanctuary for species fleeing the Krell Empire's expansion. When humanity had discovered it, the automated systems had initiated lockdown, sealing its remaining inhabitants in the deep core while the station's owners fled. These 2 had been in medical stasis, recovering from injuries. They'd awakened when Leon's repairs had restored power to their section. For 3 weeks, they'd been terrified, listening to the sounds of unknown beings occupying their sanctuary, afraid the Krell had found them at last. It was only when they'd heard Elsa's laughter that they'd dared to investigate. "You're refugees?" Leon asked. The crystalline woman nodded, her form chiming softly with the movement. The translator caught fragments. War. Families lost. Nowhere else. Leon looked at Elsa, who was showing them her drawings, utterly fearless in the way only children could be. He thought of his own flight from Earth, his own search for sanctuary. He thought of his wife, who had always said that humanity's strength wasn't its weapons or technology, it was its stubborn refusal to let fear make decisions. He took a deep breath and holstered the plasma torch. "The station's condemned," he said slowly. "Officially abandoned. No one's looking for it anymore. No one's coming to check." He met their luminous eyes. "I bought it legal and clear. As far as the Frontier Authority knows, I'm the only one here." Understanding dawned in their alien faces. "You're saying we can stay?" the obsidian woman asked, the translator finally catching every word. "I'm saying it's a big station," Leon replied. "Too big for just Elsa and me, and I could use help getting it operational." He paused. "But I need to know, are there others?" They exchanged glances. 17, the crystalline woman admitted. "In stasis. We were all injured escaping the Krell siege of Telonis." Leon ran the numbers in his head. The station could support 50 beings comfortably, maybe twice that if they were careful. 17 refugees plus him and Elsa, it was manageable. More than manageable, actually. With that many hands working together, they could restore this place to something magnificent. "Wake them," he said, carefully. "And we'll need to establish some ground rules, security protocols, resource sharing, that sort of thing." He smiled tiredly. "Welcome to Sanctuary Station." Elsa cheered, and the two alien women made sounds that might have been laughter or crying or both. In the depths of space, in a station the galaxy had forgotten, humanity had done what it did best, looked at the impossible, the terrifying, the unknown, and chosen compassion anyway. That, Leon thought as Elsa hugged their new friends, was the real human superpower. Not weapons or ships or conquest. Just the stubborn, reckless belief that there was always room for one more at the table. Always.